Influencer marketing. Should you or should you not use it? Do I really like it? What are the pros and cons of this strategy? And do I recommend it to all of my clients? And most importantly, what you should expect out of it? Well, in today's video, I'm going to reply to all of these questions and much more by sharing with you 4 lessons that I have learned by working with hundreds of influencers in different niches and different markets. So let's get started. If you have asked me a few years ago, do I recommend influencer marketing? My answer would have been not sure. Because back then, we were living in the golden era of Facebook ads, or now called Meta ads. Back then, making your ads profitable was not as difficult as today. So influencer marketing was, in my opinion, optional. But now, things are totally different. After everything that happened because of the iOS 14 updates and all of these privacy issues and the raising costs of Facebook and Instagram ads, I started to consider and test influencer marketing more and more with my clients. Frankly, it needs less budget than any other type of paid ads, and you can almost do it for free or for a very small amount of money. And no, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to frame this strategy as a magic pill for success, because it's not. Well, it's true. You can start with this strategy with a very low budget and see results. But working with big influencers who can get you enough sales to turn your business upside down can be extremely costly and risky. Before moving forward with our topic, and if you are liking this video, I want to invite you to smash the like button, to subscribe to my channel, and to hit the notification bell, because in this way, you will get notified each time I publish a new video. And now, let's get back to our topic. I've worked once with an influencer and we paid him $3,000 to share some Instagram stories about our products and our brand. And within few hours, we've received more than 300 orders. Well, yes, some influencers can be that powerful. But working with those influencers is not only costly, it is extremely risky, especially if you are at the early stage of your business and you don't have enough budget to test if working with this influencer will get you enough sales and return on investment or not. So I don't want you to get lost or confused. Yes, I recommend influencer marketing, especially for small businesses looking to make those first sales in order to gather enough data to start running paid ads. But I'm usually very cautious when I'm doing influencer marketing. I do my best to stick within my budget. And instead of working with big, super expensive influencers, I work with small micro influencers. And this actually takes us to the first lesson I've learned working with hundreds of influencers. You can never predict what type of results you will get out of collaborating with an influencer for the first time. Most people will look at influencers and evaluate them by their number of followers, their engagement rates, their view rates, and so on. And this is the logical thing to do, and this is where we all start. But even if you get all of these metrics right, you might still be surprised by the results you will get. Because there is a metric that you can't measure or evaluate from the first collaboration, and I like to call it the influence metric. And this is the metric that actually makes the biggest difference. And I discovered this when I worked with an influencer with more than 200,000 followers. We paid her a lot of money in order to publish some stories about our brand and our products. And guess what? We received 0 sales. 0, nada, nothing. And this is when I understood that some influencers might be trendy, they might have an audience, but they don't have actual influence over their audiences. So how can you avoid working with such influencers? Well, honestly, it's very hard. Over time and with experience, you will start to have a better judgment upon influencers and their connections with their audiences. But this means that you need to follow them, see how they interact with their audiences, check their stories and every piece of content they share. And still, you might end up getting it wrong, and you might work with influencers who get you 0 sales or very few sales compared to the amount of money you've paid them. That's why, especially when I have a very limited budget, instead of working with big influencers and risking it all, I work with small micro influencers who would accept to advertise to my products in return of a small amount of money or maybe of the product themselves. And believe me, you might find hidden gems there. Influencers with a small followers count are usually more dedicated to their audiences. They are still at this stage when they reply personally to comments and messages, so their connections with their audiences are very strong. That's why I recommend you to start with them, especially if you have a very limited budget. Now moving to the second lesson I've learned working with influencers. You should give your influencers very clear guidelines about what you want and what to avoid. Just because they are good and talented at creating content doesn't mean that they will know how to talk about your product and what to say. I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me. I was working with a brand and we were selling hydration serum. This is a serum that you must put in the morning on a clean skin. We sent the product to an influencer and we asked her to create a morning routine. She returned the video and guess what? In the video, she had her eyeshadow and mascara on. To us, to this brand, this was unacceptable in terms of the guidelines because this is a serum that you must put on a clean face in the morning. I know this is a very big mistake and influencers usually are very cautious and they know how to create authentic real videos. But I prefer to be cautious and not to leave anything to luck. Also, it's not fair to blame the influencers if they failed at mentioning all of your product's key benefits, if you didn't tell them about those benefits, and if you didn't ask them to mention them in the first place. That's why, with all of my clients and whenever we are working with an influencer, we prepare a detailed brief and a contract stating all of our expectations and guidelines, and we send them to the influencers. And if we are paying the influencer money and not only sending the products, we also include more details and more recommendations, and we list all the expectations from them. And here is an example of the type of information you need to include within your brief. If you want to get this template, go down to the description and download it. It's for you for free. Well, although I highly recommend you to prepare briefs and send them to influencers, and although we started to see way better results when we started sending briefs, we have also learned a very important lesson when we started sending them. Giving influencers guidelines to follow is very important, but you must find the balance between giving them guidelines and keeping or preserving their creativity. When we created our first briefs, we went crazy. We included all types of details, scripts, hooks, scenes, everything. And this was good. But guess what? We noticed that the videos we are seeing are becoming less and less authentic, and they are becoming more our style than the influencers' styles. And most importantly, we stopped seeing creative, mind-blowing ideas. So once more, we were hit by the fact that we can't restrict our influencers by giving them so many guidelines, or we will be robotizing them. We've picked those influencers because we love their work, so we must allow them to express themselves. That's why we worked on finding a balance between giving them guidelines and allowing them to work with creativity. Now moving to the fourth lesson I have learned. Finding good influencers is hard. So when you find good ones, hold to them and make them your brand ambassadors. When you start with your influencer marketing, the first round of campaigns will be your testing campaigns. You would be testing which influencers will bring you sales and which influencers will not bring you sales. But also, you would be testing which influencers are reliable and serious and which influencers are not. And believe me, finding a good, creative, reliable influencer is not easy. So when you find one, hold on to them by your hands and feet. Give them percentage profits, monthly gifts, and turn them into your brand ambassadors. So that's it to influencer marketing and all the important lessons I've learned working with hundreds of influencers. I hope that you liked this video and that it will help you to get better results with your influencer marketing. Thank you so much for watching this video and for staying up until the end. I truly appreciate that. Before leaving, and if you liked this video, don't forget to smash the like button and to subscribe to my channel and to hit the notification bell, because in this way you will get notified each time I publish a new video. Thank you again and see you next week.